annual ICAN Women's Leadership Conference season. We are kicking off 2022 with this special pre-event offered to all friends of ICAN, presenting Susan Henricks, outgoing President and CEO, and ICAN's new President and CEO, Aileen Warren. Please welcome Susan and Aileen.
Welcome to this special pre-event to kick off the 2022 ICAN Women's Leadership Conference. You may have heard that I am retiring from ICAN this month, and it has been such an honor to spend the final leg of my career journey with ICAN over these past 7 years. The business of ICAN is leadership development. And as ICAN's own leadership journey has evolved alongside world events, it seemed fitting to share with our ICAN community some thoughts on leadership, past, present, and future, from our new President and CEO, Aileen Warren. Hello, Aileen, and welcome to ICAN. I am so thrilled to pass the leadership of ICAN to you.
Thank you, Susan. I am super excited to be a part of the ICAN leadership team. As you know, I've been involved in ICAN in so many different ways over the years, and to now become the president and CEO, I am super excited, and just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for ICAN and for handing off the baton, if you will, as far as the leadership of the organization.
Absolutely. As you know, ICAN celebrated its 40th anniversary last year. And while the ICAN programs and events may have evolved over the years, one thing that hasn't changed is the ICAN commitment to developing authentic, inspired leaders to transform and strengthen the organizations and communities they serve. Aileen, having worked with you at First Data, I know that you are truly an authentic and inspiring leader. Could you please share an overview of your career and leadership journey, and also talk a little bit about your interactions with ICAN over time?
Sure. I would start off by saying I've had a wonderful professional leadership journey. Everything that I've done previously up to this point prepared me for the role that I am now. I'm in now. And starting out many years ago, I worked at a nonprofit organization, a small nonprofit organization, the Urban League of Nebraska, and I was their vice president of economic development and employment, and had a pretty small staff there, but that was my first introduction to management and being a leader. And at that organization, there were quite a few seasoned individuals who had been there for a very long time, and they were very graceful in terms of helping me develop into a leader. It was just a wonderful experience. And from there, ended up going to the banking industry, and I worked for First National Bank for about 7.5 years. And there I actually oversaw their management trainee program, which was an amazing program that helped acclimate young graduates from college and acclimated them to the banking world. So just a fun job. I learned so much, again, being a leader, and also showing them what leadership was all about, because many of them have gone on to become very successful leaders in companies in Omaha and in the region. And then from there, I actually I did a 1-year stint at MFS Communications, and talking about, eye-opening. I was there a week and found out that the company was going to be sold. And so you make lemons, right? In terms of, hey, you make lemonade in terms of how, what does this mean and how am I going to get through this? And I was able to stay there a year and again, work in the human resource function and develop a lot around leadership and professional development. And my stint after that was where we met Susan, which was First Data Corporation, now Fiserv. And I actually supported Susan as her HR support person, which was a wonderful experience. But stayed there 17 and a half years and did a lot again in leadership and professional development. In my last job before coming to ICAN, I worked at UNMC, which was an academic health center, and oversaw the HR function for them. And had a group probably about 60 people. So I've had big groups, I've had smaller groups, I've worked for big corporations, I've worked for small corporations, and through it all, have learned a lot about leadership, what it takes in terms of developing yourself as a leader, definitely picking up on the things that I felt really good leaders did and how I can incorporate that into my leadership style, but at the same time, becoming authentic in terms of who I was going to be as a leader. And that's what has brought me here today, and I'm just thrilled.
What a career. Wow. Thank you for giving us those highlights. So let's talk a little bit about the 2022 ICAN Women's Leadership Conference. So the theme for this year's conference is Blaze, Forge Ahead, and Rise Stronger. And this year, the conference will focus on how the talent landscape is evolving in our region and around the world. And when we look at the disruptions to the talent landscape and to business brought on by digitalization, hybrid flexibility, the pandemic times 2 or 3, the number of times that change has impacted business this year, including hashtag Time's Up, hashtag Me Too, and Black Lives Matter. How do you view these factors will impact the workplace going forward? And talk a little bit about how the conference will address these factors.
Well, one of the things that I feel ICAN has always done, Susan, is to take what was happening in the space of work, right? And how do they integrate that into the conference and integrate that into any of the programs that have been offered? And forging ahead, given where we're at, we've had to continue to forge ahead despite of the pandemic. But then how are we going to rise through that? And I think people have risen to the occasion. People will continue to rise to the occasion. And we have some magnificent speakers that are going to address those topics. One of them is Seth Matheson, and he's a thought leader, author, and advisor. And Seth will share the top future of work trends for 2022 that are on the minds of top leaders as they take the path to move forward and be more whole in a more human organization, where employees really feel like they have a chance to belong, given everything that's going on. So really looking forward to him being a part of the conference and what he's going to bring. And then the other side and the other spectrum in terms of authentic leadership, I'm really excited to share that another one of our speakers is going to be Cynthia Marshall. And her topic is a leadership journey leading with heart. Cynthia Marshall is the first African-American female CEO in the history of the National Basketball Association. The CEO of the Dallas Mavericks offers her time-tested rules for the road to successful leadership and explains how she transformed a toxic corporate culture through authenticity. So those are just two of the many speakers that we're going to have at the conference this year. And as always, that's one of the things when I think about my journey and how I've been involved in ICAN, the conference was always a big highlight for me and has continued to be. And I can even remember, Susan, I was one of the first speakers at the ICAN conference when it was local, right? I mean, it has grown so much in terms of the reach of the conference and the scope of the conference. But I can remember actually being one of the first speakers at ICAN. And so from me to where we're at now, it's just going to be so exciting. And again, being able to talk about some of the things that you mentioned and bringing those in, because that's a part of leadership, right? You can't ignore what's going on around you. You've got to embrace that and figure out how you're going to work through that and how you're going to help your employees work through that.
Absolutely. And so as you think about your new role at ICAN, what do you see ICAN's role being in terms of addressing all of these different disruptions, these factors that employees, companies, leaders are having to deal with?
I feel that ICAN, one of the things that we do well is to stay in touch with what's happening as far as the workplace. And so ICAN is going to look at those topics and figure out a way, how does that play out for us, and how can we be a part of that, and how can we educate people about that, and what part can we play in that? And so some of that will definitely be through some of our programming, Susan, that we'll be offering. Again, tying those themes into some of the things we currently do, maybe offering some new programs. One of our popular programs that we offer right now is examining unconscious bias. And so maybe looking at that program and how do we update that and infuse some of the things that are going on right now into society. So it's our goal, again, to lean into, if you will, those topics and being able to make sure those topics are reflected in our offerings around Omaha, and especially through the conference. Susan, on behalf of the entire business community at large, I offer my thanks for your role in developing leaders and strengthening our business community over these past 7 years as ICAN CEO. You will definitely be missed. You have left a legacy, and we appreciate you, and hopefully we'll be able to keep in touch with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Also, I'm particularly excited about promoting this year's conference theme, Blaze, Forge Ahead, Rise Stronger, and exploring the transformation we are undergoing due to the many both disruptions and opportunities to society and our workplace these past few years. I'm especially honored to lend my experience and my voice as ICAN's president and CEO to help guide the next generation of both Omaha and regional leaders in navigating these pathway changes in their leadership journey consciously and with empathy to advance in their career. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to have you with us on May 18th for the ICAN Women's Leadership Conference, to again be held as a hybrid event. In addition to a virtual offering for the 3rd year in a row, we will again have the option to register to attend in person as part of our live audience at the CHI Health Center, Omaha, following all of our safety guidelines. And like last year, all ICAN conference recordings and speaker content will be available to registrants for 30 days after the event. We invite you and your organization to register now to be a part of this wonderful event. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Our thanks to Susan Henricks and Aileen Warren for sharing their leadership insights for this discussion. The ICAN team looks forward to seeing you on May 18th. For more information and to view our agenda, check out the full speaker lineup, and to register, please visit our conference website, icanconference.com. Or you can always find us on our main website, icanleaders.org, to explore opportunities on all things leadership development programs and services. ICAN is here for you and your leaders. We appreciate you being part of our leadership network. Thanks, and see you soon.